do it in an Irish accent, so here we go. Back in the old days when the men would go to the fields to cut hay, they would always take with them a gallon earthenware jar full of Leah Ishka. Now that was spring water mixed with milk. That's weird, but that's what they would drink. Now there was a farmer who had lots of men working for him, so many in fact that by 3 in the afternoon the gallon jar of Leah Ishka was completely empty. So there happened to be a public house nearby, and there was a man working for the farmer named John McMahon, and all I shall say about him is that he was not very correct in the top story. When he should be raking the hay, he'd be shaking the hay, and when he should be shaking the hay, he'd be barking at the dog. So the farmer decided that it wouldn't be much out of his pocket if he sent John McMahon to the public house to get another jar of Leah Ishka. So he gave him 1 4 pence in the gallon jar and told him to bring it back. So John took off. He wasn't paying attention where he was going, and he fell right on his face. He got back up with the jar, the handle of the jar still in his hand, and didn't even notice that the jar had shattered. So he took on off to the public house, and when he got there, he laid the 1 4 pence on the counter and told the publican that he wanted a gallon of Leah Ishka. And the publican said, "What do you expect me to put it in?" And he said, "I have a jar right here." He said, "That's funny, I had it with me when I left the field." So he began to think. He took his hat off to give himself a little more breathing room, and he said, "I've got it, just put it in the hat." So the publican measured out a gallon of Leah Ishka and filled the hat up. When it was filled to the brim, there was still a little bit left. So the publican said, "What do you expect me to do with the rest of it? You paid for it." And John thought, he said, "Well, why don't you just put it in the top of the hat?" So the publican did. He put the rest of it in the top of the hat, and John took off to the field, very careful not to spill any. And when the farmer saw all that he had left, he said, "John, is that all you brought?" And John said, No, sir, I've got the rest of it here." Thank y'all.